Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Magic Mics, proudly sponsored by CoolStuffing.com, CardHoarder.com, Alter Sleeves, as well as Twitch subscribers and Patreon supporters just like you. I'm Evan Irwin, and we get started each week by saying hello to my two co-hosts, MTG Nerd Girl.
Hey guys, welcome back.
Ruben Bressler.
What's going on? How's everybody doing?
It's another day in paradise, as I like to say. And if you
do say that, but you also live in Orlando, Florida.
I did live, and there was literally a day so good a couple days ago in the Orlando subreddit. There was a topic there that just said it's a perfect day. It was really nice. It's okay. It's going to get really terrible in a couple weeks, but it's fine.
Sure.
If you missed our pre-show, subscribers to this channel get access to our NSFW version early, and we kick it off with our first pick in our giveaway. Get your chance at $50 worth of anything at CoolStuffing.com by typing !raffle in the chat. But subscribe first to get 2 chances to win, and support your favorite streamer with your suggestions at the end of the show to see who we raid tonight. That, of course, is thanks to our sponsor, CoolStuffing.com, where you can find cool stuff in stock every day. And today was the official unveiling of some amount of information about Streets of New Capenna. This is the noir set. This is the gangsterish set. This is the demon crime family set, and it looks amazing. And
the symbol is brass knuckles
with angel wings.
Like, how can you not love that?
I'm gonna get it on screen. Give me just 2 seconds here.
Just the set symbol is actual brass knuckles. Like, we know what we're here for. If the thing that's on literally every card is, kind of genre breaking, right? Mm-hmm. Like, brass knuckles are a relatively anachronistic inclusion for Magic cards. So they know what they're doing here. And so I'm getting the feeling that we're getting the we're not taking it too seriously vibe again, which I always love.
Hmm. Let me see. First look at Streets of New Capenna. We are up on the screen here in just 2 seconds. All right. They released an article. They had a live stream earlier today, which was neat. Let's bring it up here on the screen.
Yeah, and a lot of the art, especially of the basics that I'm looking at.
Oh, man, it is absolutely sweet. Now, they won't tell us a ton about the set. We don't know what plane it is. We think it might be Elspeth's home plane or something.
Maybe.
But look at that. Come on. It's brass knuckles.
I love the brass knuckles.
That's amazing. And let's not forget that the pre-release this time is in stores first, which is awesome. All your LGSs will be very happy about that. I am certainly very happy about that, which is great.
Slightly better commander symbol this time. At least it's got some wings on it.
Yeah, at least it's not just another shieldy with lines on it.
Yeah. Does anybody else get like a superhero feel from the way the wings are around it? It almost looks like a shield type deal or some sort of emblem, more so than a typical set symbol.
And I was getting a lot of vibes from the basics sorry if I was cutting you off there, but as you scroll down to the basic lands, and that goes along with the superhero vibes. Very Art Deco, 1920s classic, like New York architecture, right? Like, come on down to the Empire State Building. We've got all business and news of the day. Like, definitely getting those vibes.
1927's Metropolis.
Yeah,
those vibes.
Exactly. Sort of like past futurism, kind of like Tomorrowland almost. Which really resonates and is like Captain America, right? Like, that's kind of the vibe you get, which I'm all here for. Alternate fantasy types and genres.
Look at that mountain. That mountain is dope. That is just one of the coolest mountains I've ever seen.
That's just Space Mountain. That's legitimate. It's so cool.
That's Space Mountain. I love it. They've literally already showed us the Space Mountain, and here's a different one, which is great.
Yeah.
Now, there will be lands that have actual text boxes. I honest to God don't know why at this point. Like, why? It feels weird that they want to legitimately make a worse product. I don't understand. There was a time 10, 15 years ago when full art lands were the business, and they were unique, and they were, crazy cool, and you could only get them a certain way. But we're getting them every set now. And I think at some point you want to just have these be the default lands and stop making crappy versions of them.
Some people like text boxes. Like, I get that.
Yeah.
They're easier to proxy on if you need to do, you have the text box where you can doodle in the text of the card. These would be very hard to do that for.
Mm-hmm. So they are renaming the shards in this, is because the families, of course, not the names of the shards anymore. But if you were around for Shards of Alara, you would know that Esper is now Obscura, and these are the assassins. Okay. And
so we've got a dagger with a hand with a key.
Right, to unlock.
Okay, so they're the assassins. That makes it like the thieves, the rogues. I get it.
Yeah, they know all about the underbellies of things, I guess.
Yeah.
We have the Maestros. This would be the Grixis, the blue, red, and black. And these are the wizards.
Got it. And we see like a chalice and some blades. Stiletto knives.
Yeah.
So they're kind of the wheeler dealers.
Mm-hmm. Well, we have those who work on things and make it work. These are the riveters, the riveteers. They're black, red, and green, the Jund, as we used to know them. There's an anvil right in the middle of that.
Yep, we can do it.
Big old hammer. And then we have the Cabaretti. These are the partiers. These are the party animal druids, as they were described. So Naya, as we once knew for Naya, it is red, green, and white, but it's Cabaretti. Let's go.
Sure, and that looks like a mask. That looks like a Venetian style,
like a druid like headdress,
masquerade mask with kind of the crown. Yeah. Okay. Sure.
And last, we have the lawyers.
The brokers.
The brokers. But they are the lawyers of the world.
They are.
They are Bant colored. Green, white, and blue are the brokers family. And that's pretty cool.
I love that. These other folks have names, right?
Right.
Cabaretti, Obscura, Maestros. Like Riveters, all right, that's a thing.
That's a thing.
The brokers.
The brokers.
Okay, well,
we knew it was coming. Just like Ikoria gave us the wedges, we now have the shards, Jetmir's Garden, Raffing's Tower, Sapera's headquarters. Now these are the heads of each family, is what these names are for. So we'll get to learn who Xander is and Zayatora at some point for her proving ground. But these are the basic land type triomes that have the basic land types, and they have cycling just like the Ikoria lands. Again, these will be super awesome to play with. They'll be great and historic, and I love them.
So for the players who've been around for a little while, we're getting into a new generation of Magic players where we're going to say something like Dimir or Naya or whatever, and they're going to be like, "Do you mean Lorehold and the broker?" Like, obviously those don't match up. I couldn't remember them, to be honest, off the top of my head here. But
right.
The older generation and the new generation are not going to be able to speak to each other, which is I'm going to find very funny.
Well, it took me a very long time to get used to Sultai.
I agree with that. Bug died a hard death.
Bug died a hard death, as did Rug.
Yeah,
I
Rug
never
and Bug really had
got into Temur.
Yeah.
Like, they tried to make me call it Sultai Delver, and I never did. I just would not allow that to happen. However, my original fight was with Seta and Anna and Daga from Apocalypse because I'm a very old man. So I was never going to win that fight. I know that I'm never going to win.
I mean, and there just became that point where it's like, if we don't just hop on the back of whatever WotC's doing, we're just fighting the tide. So decide not to. Now, there's going to be 2 different versions of these lands. 2 different showcases. I know. Who knew?
3.
Right?
3 versions, 2 showcases.
Right. 2 showcases. There's 1. So technically 3 total versions of each card. We just got to get used to it. It's just our new normal. There's going to have a million variants on all the cards. And honest to God, they look great. Like, I'm not mad, you know?
The boxing ring is incredible. There's a monorail.
Wow.
Someone's telling me there's a monorail somewhere. Hold on.
There you go. So now they showed us
is the best.
Definitely the best. Now they showed us the lands, which are great and honestly were expected, but they're still great. But they also got to show us an ascendancy. Now with these types of sets, it's all about the cycles, and the ascendancies were dope back in the day. Jeskai Ascendancy came out of nowhere and won a tournament at one point, which was awesome. So let's take a look at the lawyers. What are they going to bring? What are the brokers going to do in this world? Well, they have a broker's ascendancy, and check out that crazy Art Deco looking version on the right. Oh my God. I love it. Broker's Ascendancy is blue, white, and green mana. 3 mana for a rare enchantment that says at the beginning of your end step, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control and a loyalty counter on each planeswalker you control. Hot damn, that's a good card.
That's just an Atraxa. That's a 3 mana Atraxa.
That's just go nuts.
Pretty good.
Nerd Girl, does this speak to you in some way?
The art is really interesting. I like that they are branching out into these different art styles. We saw this a little bit with the Mystical Archives, but to me, that is the most important part of this card.
Yeah. The thing that connects me most is the Magic card Stasis, right? This looks like the abstract, sort of completely off the wall Stasis, but it is a evolution of that, right? Because we're definitely leaning more into the Art Deco movement, where we're getting a lot more of like Diego Rivera influence, Jean Dunard influence. I'm going to go art nerd on you, sorry. But we're getting that sort of like blocky, cubist.
Great. Secret Lair Jackson Pollock would be amazing. I would love it. Just do some basic lands, right? Because you can just kind of assign anything. Just, it'd be great.
I love that. What else could we do with Grape Shot? Would be perfect as Jackson Pollock.
There you go. Very nice.
Let's see here.
Molten Rain, maybe.
Molten Rain is a great one for Jackson Pollock. Cool. That's a really good one.
Right.
I think I would buy a Secret Lair that had like 5 cards, that had a card in the style of 5 different famous artists. That would be pretty sweet. I'm sure that getting the rights to do a thing like that would probably be absurd, but Wizards of the Coast, I would buy that product.
Yeah. I mean, they did it with Bob Ross, so they've dealt with artist estates in the past.
Right, but those are recent artists that passed, not sort of the old school,
fair.
like not Picasso's or whatever, which I think comes down to...
We're not trying to get a Toulouse-Lautrec Secret Lair or anything.
Right, which I think comes down to what type of scan that you have of the actual artwork, or high-res image that you have of the artwork.
That makes sense.
And that's kind of where the copyright comes from, is who took that image or who scanned it. I'm not sure, but that would be a thing. Either way, they are going to they outlaid the sort of the product offering. There's going to be the draft set and collector boosters, plus the Japan exclusive 10 set or 10 card set booster display. So there's only 10 cards per pack, and that's because a lot of collectible card games are sold in packs of 10 apparently over in Japan, and that's just sort of a culture thing.
The collector booster display is the best looking thing I've ever seen.
Isn't it great?
It's like mint green and like coral, and it looks like a hotel in Miami. This is the coolest thing I've ever seen.
It's like a hotel in Miami in BioShock. And it looks amazing.
The color scheme is really good.
Oh, I love that so much.
Yeah, the colors are great. Now, one of the things they noted was that the commander decks are going to have an extra special collector booster sample pack that's going to have 2 cards, a foil common or uncommon, and then a rare or a mythic, and it could be also foil. It's just going to be like a little 2-card thingy that's going to be inside the commander decks to give them just a little of that taste. Just give them a little taste. A little taste
of a little scratch off.
Yeah, a little scratch.
Whatever. That seems stupid, but whatever.
I mean, they want to lead you to the path of $25, $30 booster packs.
Yeah, I mean, and if they don't jack up the price of the box for that, then that's kind of a nice bonus for sure.
Yeah.
But some people are going to get one random $15, $20 card, and they're going to be like, oh, this was great, let's do this again. And then, like you said, now they're going into the $25 plus packs.
Spin the wheel. Thank you. Spin the wheel. Let's go.
The excitement wheel.
That's right. It's very exciting. Super exciting. Well, they also mentioned here that at the in-store command launch parties, April 29th through May 1st, there is a promo version of Swiftfoot Boots, which is a very popular, very well asked for reprint all the time. And there's also a really sweet Mind Stone that you can get if you bring a friend to a North American event. You can get one of those too. Yeah.
That's excellent. What a great little promo.
Yeah, those are great little promos. So that is fantastic. And that is more or less the information that they shared with us. Now, I didn't go over like the names.
Vampire Daddy at the end. Who's this giant? Who's this large gentleman with the chest plate and the hello friend?
I'm pretty sure that's Obnixilis.
No,
as I understand it.
No, that's not Obnixilis, is it?
I think so. I think that's old Obipoo right there. I could be wrong.
He looks good.
I've seen Obnixilis thrown around, and I was like, that sounds right. It looks right.
I've seen Obnixilis thrown around too.
I mean, they're telling us it's in the chat. I believe it.
Right.
But obviously, we would like to get that confirmed.
He makes sense for the demon plotting plane.
Demon crime power, family and stuff. But again, we're starting with, the brass knuckles and the angel wings, and it's going to be
I love it. And again, they're not they're very clearly not taking themselves too seriously. And Magic is at its best when it is like wink, wink, nudge, nudging you a little bit.
All right. So we move here from the first pick to gather the townsfolk thanks to our sponsor, cardhoarder.com, offering the best inventory prices and delivery of cards for Magic Online. So we'll move here into the Innistrad-themed Stranger Things cards. Now, this is super neat. Let me get this on the screen for you. Very nice. And these are the in-universe versions, the Innistrad versions, of course. These do have Friends Forever as a mechanic on them, but they don't really read that way when you have a witch who's clearly, going crazy, but they're Friends Forever. It's fine. But yeah, these are, Arvanox, the Mind Flail instead of, the Mind Flailer or Flailer?
Mind Flayer.
Mind Flayer. That guy, Cecily, Haunted Mage, instead of 11, even though your maximum hand size is 11, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So this is what we're going to get. We're going to see these types of cards, in set boosters as part of the list. So, in 1 out of 8 packs is a set list, is from the list, and then half of those will be one of these cards. And so, first of all, this also confirms there'll be double-sided cards in the list, which, as I understand it, there has not been yet. So that's a good thing. And, this is how we're able to make the secret layer alternate universe thing work. And honestly, if it weren't for the uproar of the fine people like those listening to this podcast, these would never have existed. I feel very strongly about that. At the time, there was a lot of people who had to say really loud, you can't just make unique game pieces one time only and never again. That's not cool. Like, give them the unique one-time Stranger Things versions. That's great. You're selling a collectible, but don't make a unique game piece and just sell it once and then never again. We're back to the reserve list. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Good. That's good. I mean, I look at it and I just am like kind of vaguely upset because I look at a Magic ability called Friends Forever and I'm like, I can't look at this card and read it. It says your maximum hand size is 11 and be like, that's a Magic card. But the Havengul library in particular is a really excellent one. It's fine. I'm fine with this.
Friends Forever feels like it should be on the My Little Pony.
What was that?
Friends Forever feels like it should be on My Little Pony cards, right?
Yes.
Well, now it can.
But there was a friendship card, I think.
In universe, you can totally do that now. That'd be fine.
Was there a friendship card?
No.
Wait, when?
Like didn't one of the My Little Pony abilities say friendship on it?
Yes, it did. So one of the My Little Pony promo creatures had an ability called friendship, I think. And yeah, where is our in-universe My Little Pony cards, Wizards, and Dino Truck Commander?
Well, moving on here, there was a video released by Gavin Verhey, who does his Good Morning Magic show, and he was talking about the Commander Evergreen mechanic. This is going to be a mechanic they're going to bring back into a lot of Commander sets and Commander cards because it works really great in a multiplayer environment, not so much in a 1v1 standard constructed whatever environment, but in the world of Commander, Goad is awesome. If you goad a creature, for example, it says until your next turn, that creature attacks each combat if able and attacks a player other than you if able, which means if you goad them and you're the only two people left, they're still going to attack you. They still have to attack you, but if they don't have to, they won't. And that creates a lot of cool interaction. And there's a lot of times where Commander games can just get completely stalled out, and these break those stalls. And I thought it was brilliant. And I can't say anything bad about it being an evergreen mechanic.
Nice.
Yeah, absolutely. We had the Bloodthirsty Blade as a preview card on this here show. I think that Karazikar, the Eye Tyrant, has become a popular Rakdos commander. That's the Beholder commander from the Adventures in the Forgotten Realms box set. Goad is great at ending games and closing out games and making games go faster and making combat matter. And when you're in a multiplayer setting, hitting two opponents against each other is great. And when you're down to one-on-one and you got to end the game, making things attack is a great way to stop board stalls. It's really fun. I'm glad that they've decided to do that.
That's a unique mechanic.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. And it's just, it does, when he was explaining the video, because, I just don't play a lot of multiplayer Commander Magic, when he was just like, look, there's giant board stalls, and this gets, them attacking them and them attacking those, and stuff is moving, and now they don't have blockers, and you can do all this stuff. I'm like, oh, that makes so much sense. That's really cool. Let's see here. So, for fans of Paulo Vitor Dama da Rosa, our world champion, he has begun to do independent content, patreon.com/PVDDR, if you would like to support that content. Paulo Vitor is a lovely human who wizards through a variety of choices and implementations, and thanks to a giant virus that dealt the killing blow, doesn't really have a place in a lot of content, content marketing, I guess, as you would call it, because if you're making content for formats that people are not either able to play or they don't want to play, or what they can have as options are very, very limited, after a while you kind of do your own thing, which he's doing, which is great. So if you want to, read Paulo's stuff, interact with him, be part of his community, it's a thing you can do.
It's a terrifying jump to freelance content creation. We know from experience. So good luck to PV, two-time defending Brazilian esports athlete of the year, among other accolades. This is a weird time for Magic content creation. So all the luck in the world to everyone who's given it a go. It's
true. This week, a small story, not super huge, but kind of interesting in many ways. TCGplayer talked about revising their conditioning standard, and stay with me. I know this is not the most exciting, thing to talk about.
Well, we've got 8 pages of conditioning standard to go over with you, and we're going to read them verbatim. No, we're not.
Exactly. No. But, what they did say was that they're, in the world of Magic cards, and honestly, in any trading card game, what near mint is not really well defined. There have been attempts at it. There are still attempts at it. I mean, I can show you a grading, page on Cool Stuff Inc. I could show you one on Star City. I'm sure Card Kingdom has one. TCGplayer clearly has revised their rules. And there's certain things that they are now okay with would be marking as near mint. Whereas I know that if there's like a dent on your card anywhere, that's not near mint. And I wouldn't consider that near mint personally. And I know that, again, standards of various businesses out there would not call that near mint. Well, according to the new standard, one of the things you could have is like one small little dent or ding or whatever on it. Mm-hmm. And again, these standards are tough to define and based honestly sometimes on how the employee kind of feels about it and looks at it in the light a certain way. And if they caught a certain thing, grading companies are blowing up because graded cards are way cooler these days. For God's sakes, I heard the term Pokebro for the first time this past week. And Pokebros like to buy slabs, you see. Slabs being graded Pokemon cards because they need something to show off with their crypto or whatever they do.
I hate that. I hate that so much.
I knew you would hate it the most. So either way, it's important to notice when things like this happen kind of in the industry of the cards that we deal with, that one of the main players has, I think, adjusted a lot of their grading to allow a few more imperfections than I think you would be expected to over the past X years of Magic collecting. It feels a little looser.
Yeah, I've also noticed like between different vendors, like you said, a lot of it has to do with who's behind the counter. But some vendors are generally harsher than others. So it is nice that we're starting to see maybe a little bit more of a clear definition of it, which just makes life easier for people on both sides of the counter.
Yeah, actually, you've got a lot more experience than either of us combined. So is this something that is likely to take the industry by storm? Or is this because
it's caused
as a floor trader, I'm just saying to Nerd Girl, like what is your thoughts on everyone agreeing on the same process? Is that feasible?
I don't think so. Because a lot of it has to do with, the demand of the card as well. So if a dealer is really out of a really important staple that's really hot on the floor, then they're willing to give you near, mint prices when they are not near mint because they know they can sell it at that rate because people just need a copy of the card and there just aren't any out there. So the price is so varying, and I can't imagine that the vendors will get together and decide on a thing.
I think the only thing you can say is is anything ever mint these days? Well, if you send it to a grading company that has a good reputation and they say it's mint, then I'll believe it is mint.
Yeah, but grading is different than conditioning too.
I mean, the grade is all about the condition, but
Yeah.
But I would say again, this is a little inside baseball. I understand this isn't going to affect a lot of people's lives, but I do feel like it's important to know when a very large retailer, very, very large retailer, who moves a ton of cards and may have cards in your hands, they're changing stuff.
Absolutely.
I'm not a watch guy. I'm not a watch dude, but I like watches. I think they're cool. I'm not a watch guy, but I'll be damned if this is some sweet watches, man. These are super rad. These are unique watches that are from super_groupies. I'm not exactly sure what these folks are about, but they have a Jace watch, a Chandra watch, a Bolus watch. I believe that was, and a Liliana over here. And this, I'm guessing this is Garrick over here from the fourth across, but these are cool as hell. And if I was a watch guy, I would want these in my life.
Yeah.
And look at the price point here.
I have no idea. Look, if you have to ask.
I don't know what this means.
If you have to ask.
Well, it's a Japanese company. Let me see how much this is worth in American dollars.
Oh boy. And I'm all right. Let's see. What does Google Translate say?
$200. That's a cheap watch.
That's not. I mean, considering how cool and sweet it is, I was expecting it to be more. Quite frankly,
I was too. That's not too bad.
I mean, again, if you're a watch person and you like watches.
They did something similar for the jewelry about this time last year-ish, where they made the little divining top and the Mox diamond or whatever. Yes. So this is something we see moderately regularly. It does seem like Wizards of the Coast has gotten a little bit more free about giving out the IP or selling the IP to things.
Right.
I know I had a thumb ring that had all the mana symbols on it, and it was 20x the price I got for it because those things just didn't exist because Magic did not give out its IP for many, many years. And now we're just kind of seeing them all over the place, which is really interesting. But it also allows us to get some really cool stuff if you're into the, fandom side of things.
Yeah, the licensing side of Wizards has just like blown up in terms of the things they're comfortable with people making. I mean, whether it's video games, even if they're absolutely horrible, like you can make horrible Magic video games now. You couldn't do that for many years. Good, bad, or ugly, at least they can make them now. Like, okay.
Yeah.
It feels a lot like the Secret Lair. Sorry. It feels a lot like the Secret Lair, where we were saying, like, there were a lot of doors that they kept closed, and we said, you know, this is a thing we cannot do. And it looks like someone just took control and was like, hey, we can do X and make a bunch of money. And I feel like this is very in line with the same thing we've been seeing them do with their other products, as far as Secret Lairs and EDH decks and all sorts of things, where it's just like, hey, why are we not doing this thing?
Yeah, I mean, like, Secret Lair is going to move the needle, you know, a lot. This is going to move the needle a little bit. But if you get a lot of little bits together and a license deal here and, you know, there's the jewelry over there, eventually some clothing over here, that stuff starts to add up after a while. And they did get to $1 billion in revenue in a year. And that's a whole lot of money.
Yeah.
And this is the again, those little things that'll bump it up. Secret Lairs will give you millions. This probably won't give them millions, but it'll get, again, some good licensing fees in there.
It'll get you eyeballs is the other thing.
Yeah. It'll get you something cool to show off. The Judge program, the Judge Academy, they released a little thing here called the, I guess the Judge Academy merchandise box, where the Greater Auramancy and the Omniscience is the theme.
Got it.
And so if there are judges out there in the chat, please highlight exactly how these things are being distributed. What I see here is there's some play mats, there's some face masks, there's some hoodies and some art pins. And if this is unique to the Judge Academy and the judges are the only people who can buy this stuff, this says, Pharmacist Judge, thank you. L3 only can buy up to 2 sets of these.
That's a good reward.
That's
I like
a cool
that.
reward. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, expand the offering a little bit.
Yeah, I don't mind that at all. That is, I mean, we are trying to figure out ways to reimburse is the wrong word. We're trying to imburse our judge community without going through literally the entire rigmarole that we always go through with the judges every time we're trying to reward them with things because they're nice people doing a good job. This is a good thing. I'm not going to dig any further into it. Sometimes you don't ask questions, you just be thankful.
I have a question. So someone's saying, like, only L3 judges can buy up to 2 sets of this. Mm-hmm. That's great. I love that they're able to do this. They can resell it because it's exclusive. Mm-hmm. And that could possibly put some money in the judges' pockets. But my question is why are we not coming up with a program where we sell this and everybody can buy them and the proceeds go to the judge's pocket? Well, I don't understand why we have to do too much of this hoopla when we can just kickstart a judge exclusive playmat, get an artist involved, pay the artist.
Right.
And everybody is crowdfunding this thing that we really love. I would love to jump in on that. I would definitely kickstart it. I don't know why that's not a thing.
So I would love to be able to put like my dollars going to exactly this program and the people in the program to reward them for being in that program. Yes.
I would too, but the problem is then Wizards has to touch the money briefly.
Why? Why isn't the judge program doing it?
Because
the Judge Academy is doing it.
The Judge Academy. This is the way so okay. So if the Judge Academy ran a Kickstarter,
to then fund their judges, I would pay that.
Yeah. So, and Pharmacist Judge notes here that the Judge Academy has a natural problem as a teaching entity. L3s get very little out of educational programming because once you're like at the top, which is L3 as I understand it, you're kind of there. So the ability to give them exclusive items to buy and resell is neat. I agree. A better solution can exist if they wanted it to, but that's not the world we're living in right this moment. As we move on here to Desperate Ravings, you can check out our altar sleeves. Support the show and use the code MAGICMICS at checkout for 5% off anything in the store, including a set of exclusive sleeves featuring the Magic Mike's crew at altersleeves.com/magicmics. Tell them we sent you. It's great. There was a question here this week on the blog talk. This is markrosewater.tumblr.com. And someone had mentioned, if we were to return to Ixalan, does it have to be tribal themed? In a broader sense, how much do you have to stick to the mechanical identity of the plane when you return? And Mark knows that's something that they're thinking a lot about. Kamigawa Neon Dynasty is a good example of revisiting a world with a different mechanical identity. War of the Spark is an example of a world as a backdrop for a different theme. I do think we're going to be experimenting more with what a return can be.
Cool.
Nice. Like if you were to give me better like piratey mechanics,
Yeah.
It does not need to be tribal. I would be just as happy in my pirate world if it had more piratey things.
Exactly.
Sure.
We can go to Dominaria and not get slivers, right? We can go to a Phyrexian world and not necessarily get infect. There are, we can shift and change and bob and weave. We don't need arcane in Kamigawa, for example.
Right.
People will feel very left out. I don't know if that's true. When you go to a plane that's known for a thing, a specific archetype, and then you leave out a couple of them, the people who love those ones are going to get very angry, not just at R&D, at Wizards, but also the people who love the formats that are represented. And that does seem a little scary.
When we went back to Dominaria and they didn't have slivers, people were upset. If we'd come back to Kamigawa and there were no ninjas, people would have been like, what is happening?
Yeah.
But that would be like going back to Ixalan with no pirates. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like you need to have the core thing that's cool about the world, and then you can build off of it from there. The lack of changelings was the only problem with that entire set anyway. But it's also a good case study of what to do, like how to do tribal sets incorrectly is when you forgot to learn the lessons of what you fixed already in the first place back in Lorwyn. So. But either way, like returning to Old Grotha, this is the key that lets them go back to homelands, is that you don't have to give a damn about anything those old sets were doing. It's just mind that nostalgia, bring it back. Like, let's see where Autumn Willow was. Let's see another Baron Singer. The characters are super cool.
Sarah, the Sanctum of Sarah.
Let's go.
We see the name Sarah all around. Sarah Angel, Sarah this, Sarah that.
Yeah.
Let's see where she's from.
Absolutely. So I would love that.
Yeah.
There's
not where she's from, but where she lived with her husband. It's a long story.
She's from Sarah's Sanctum, and and like Faraz would be a cool character to visit. Someone had noted here that their Duel Masters Black Lotus order got canceled and was back in stock at 2.5 times the price.
Yeah, I mean
we're in weird promo territory.
Retail. Yeah, that's gonna.
And it's always super gross when that happens.
But I've seen that happen a lot with pre-orders where they'll pre-order all of their cards at a certain price, and then the ones that drop, they obviously have them all, and the ones that skyrocket, they don't have them, but then they have them for sale on the website at a much higher rate.
Oh yeah.
And that's pretty shifty, and it's a good way to get people not to pre-order with you ever again.
Yep.
It's a very scummy thing, and this is one of those where if you sell something at a price, you sold it at a price. Like you had an opportunity, so did they. They bought it, they paid for it. This is very similar to when people sell cards. They're happy to sell it. You're happy to buy it at that price. You shake hands and you're all smiles. Everyone had a good time in that transaction. No one got taken advantage of. Yes, maybe it was worth more later, but at the time you were happy with the price and they were happy to sell it. So that's the thing. But when this stuff happens, it's just kind of gross. And they've never really made a Black Lotus promo like this before. And God knows what it's going to do over time. Apparently it's like $35 or something. And
amazing. I would immediately jump in on a $35 Black Lotus Duel Master card. They would print a Mox Ruby in Duel Masters.
You're on it. Look, this is just a weird situation where they have a promo that's kind of related, but it's kind of not, but it could be really expensive because we've never had another Black Lotus printed on a cardboard, before. Oh, goodness. All right. Well, that said, we're going to turn the corner here to the finisher. Now, Mox Rubies of the World Rejoice. Weird, the Al Yankovic story, began filming last month. And it got me thinking, who would play you in a biopic of your life, Ruben?
I want my favorite actor in the entire world to play me. Someone that can encapsulate my genius with equal genius of his own. Mox, the Ruben Bressler story, starring Nicolas Cage.
Oh my God. Nerd Girl?
All right, if I'm getting a Nerd Girl the movie made, I read this beforehand, by the way. It can only be made if I have the right star power. So my choice to star in a movie about my life is Tina Fey, partly because the top tier status, of course, but mostly because of how both of us are just the very best at reading scripts aloud live on camera.
Well,
thanks.
Listen, call me pretentious, call me contentious, call me whatever you want, but can't pick anyone who is better suited for The Magic Show, the movie, the Evan Irwin story, quite as well as the great one, Orson Welles, because no one can encapsulate my innovation, originality, or jowls quite like the master himself. And also he's dead. But okay.
Yeah, but no one can, I mean, it's
fine.
Orson Welles.
It's Orson Welles. He did a great thing. Well,
I've heard that Jack Black might play Orson Welles in an Orson Welles biopic, and I would pay a lot of money to see. That sounds amazing.
I could see Jack Black playing me in the Magic Show.
That'd be great.
Evan Irwin story. That'd be great. And that ends another live episode of Magic Mics. Thanks for joining us here to discuss all things Magic. Thank you, Nerd Girl.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you, Ruben.
Hey, I have to run before Nerd Girl chases me down for writing that joke.
Beat you down. A movie.
It's true. Oh, that's true. We have secrets. We have secrets to share.
Oh, so many secrets. So we move here to our final slide. I want to thank our sponsor, CoolStuffInc.com, our co-sponsors, CardHoarder.com, and Ultra Sleeves, using the Magic Mics code on UltraSleeves.com. My co-host, Nerd Girl, and Ruben Bressler, you guys for watching and listening. I hope you support us at Patreon.com/MagicMics. Please follow, like, tweet, favorite, share, subscribe to everything social that tells people we exist. Catch us online on our Discord, Twitch.tv at Magic Mics, on Twitter at Magic Mics Cast, our Magic Mics subreddit, and like the Magic Mics page on Facebook. Or join us here next week, same time, same place, for another episode of Magic Mics. Good night, everybody.